So I just got off the Zoom call that I started with my dad to make a joint bank account with him on Twinstar, which is one of the Pacific Northwest built banks that actually has branches out here. Although, of course, most of them are closed right now due to COVID. Um, I, uh, I convinced him. I mean, it didn't take much convincing because he doesn't understand anything about anything. um, that I would prefer to make an account with a physically nearby bank because my mom's accounts are all in places that aren't even up here. They're all in Southern California banks. And I don't deal with any of those banks. And I don't like having all these different accounts on all these different places. Um, and it was funny because right before we started the Zoom, he's like, "Do you have a trash can nearby?" And I was like, "Because you think you might find me?" He's like, "Yes, I might." And he wasn't joking. My dad's anxiety is just insane, even before my mom died. Um, but yeah, it's been rough. Yesterday, I got like two more phone calls from these companies that promise to take your unwanted timeshares and like find some other schmuck to buy them, and they take over all your fears, blah blah blah. And it's all very scammy. And basically the situation is, when I was a kid, like literally like 6 years old, my mom signed up for this lifetime membership for this dude ranch where basically you go and they have horses and you can like rent the horses for a couple hours and ride them and stuff like that, called Sundance Meadows, near Temecula. And yeah, she signed a lifetime membership thing, which, even though the actual membership has been paid off a long time ago, they still charge us. It's $700 a year now, and it keeps going up basically as the property falls apart. The more they charge for maintenance fees. And for years now, my mom's been trying to get out of it, and they have a contract that basically says, you have to pay us until forever. And I have to find the contract and try to figure out how to read it, even though I don't understand legalese at all, so I don't know how I'm going to manage to do that. But sorry, this is all tickly. Try to find it and see if there's any way to get out of it. I doubt that there is. And mainly to make sure it doesn't transfer to me, which would be lovely. To end up with some shitty thing that my mom, spent all this money on when I was a kid. And the legality of it is questionable, but you have to hire a lawyer to do all that shit, and I'm afraid to even look up lawyers. All I know is they're hella expensive, and there's no guarantee that they can even win the case. And I don't know, the idea of spending thousands upon thousands to hire a lawyer to get out of something that's $700 a year feels like a wasted venture. And of course, that's how they keep making their money, because people are just like, I don't want to go through all that. My mom, before she died, was like, just don't pay them. The worst they can do is trash dad's credit, and he's not going to be buying stuff anyway, so it doesn't matter if they do that. But I'm hesitant, both because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, because I think it would really suck for my dad's good credit to get trashed by this piece of shit company over something this stupid. And two, there's nothing to stop them from calling us and sending, demanding letters and stuff a million times a day if that's what they want. Hopefully they don't have my phone number. Hopefully they just have my mom's phone number, which is actually newer than mine is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just scared. We'll see how it goes. So the next quarterly payment goes out, is set to auto pay from one of her accounts in April. I'm not sure if I'm still going to have that account around in April. I don't know. I'm just really hesitant about closing the accounts, just in case there's some thing that's supposed to be paid that she has set up on autopay or whatever. She's so weird too about autopay and stuff like that. She was always afraid of doing an autopay from the side of the receiver. So say like a car loan through Toyota, she would never sign up for Toyota to be able to pull the amount from the account. She always would set it up bank side, and a lot of the times she wouldn't even set it up as it automatically does whatever amount is due that month. It'll just send a check out for whatever amount that she puts in, And sometimes it's for something that it changes. Like for instance, the internet, the base price is like 100 because it's high speed internet and cable. I don't know, any other stuff. Um, but if you go over the data limit, then there's extra cost. And so she would do that, have the auto thing go out, and then she'd have to send a second check custom for the extra amount. Like, it's just, so many dumb things. And I keep finding lovely little, tricks, lovely little circumstances. Like, I knew that she had these bill pay things set up, and she had put me as a joint owner or whatever for these accounts, but I logged on my account instance for these things, and I went to bill pay and it said there's nothing there. Then I found out, I have to use her log in to see all these bill pays and stuff, and luckily I was able to forget password and redo it. Here, let me show you something. So this is my password book, and it's only like a third filled, because one, I know how to use a pencil and eraser, and two, if I don't remember my password, odds are I can just look it up and it's right there. I don't need to change it every time. This is, my mom has two main, this is her address book, one of them. This is another address book, and she does everything in pen, doesn't ever use whiteout, and like if she doesn't have the password sitting there right in front of her right at that moment, she resets it and picks a different password and everything, and she'll just like scratch out passwords and put the new one in there. But she will, sometimes she doesn't fully scratch it out. Sometimes she's like writing so small that you can't tell what she wrote. Like, she just she did everything in such an insane way. And like before she died, I was trying to get her, like I was like, okay, I'm going to sit here with Excel. We're going to go through this book page by page, and the accounts that actually matter, tell me which ones those are, highlight them, like whatever, and I'll type them in here so I can actually find it. And she just didn't want to, like she would just get so flustered and frustrated and stuff just at me even like beginning to try to make sense of her stuff. And as a result, she's gone now. And I mean, it's not like she was super useful when she was alive still, but I'm just struggling to figure out what money is going where, and what accounts or what debts are out there. And of course, as I mentioned before, she fell for pyramid scams and stuff like that all the time. So there's all these companies that are like, you owe us $1 million or whatever, and usually she just pays it. She doesn't even fight it because she's like, it's not worth fighting. It's like, yeah, well, those hundreds to thousands of dollars of checks you're just writing out definitely add up. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm kind of just trying to at least look at the most immediate ingoing and outgoing things. Hopefully she doesn't have even more bank accounts than the ones she told me about that I'm not aware of. I'm going to order a credit report for her, and hopefully that'll show me if there's anything else out there. But it's just, I don't understand this stuff. I hate this stuff. My hands are full with the boys who are, napping right now. So that's why I had to do the bank thing now, because the only chance I ever have to do anything is when the kids are down for their nap. And I'm so angry at her. I mean, Matthew, my husband, he got all mad the other night, like we were talking about it as we were going to bed, and he just got so mad. Was like, she knew she was dying for all these years. Why didn't she simplify things? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Part of it, I think is just a selfishness where it's like, well, it makes sense to me, so why doesn't it make sense for you? And part of it was her very defensiveness over, all the bad investments she made, because she would get all into a company. My dad and I would Google the company, come up with all these, reviews saying what a scam it was. And she would just go, you think I'm stupid, and do it anyway. So as a result, she was always very cagey about, what she was sinking money into. And my dad doesn't know how to do any of that. He doesn't know how to open a bank account. He doesn't know how to check his email. He doesn't know how to answer, even read a text, let alone reply to one. So it's not like he was able to, figure out what she was doing. So I don't know, fun times. I'm just hoping that I don't need to hire a lawyer to help me get through all this, because, the life insurance is not that big. And I think it would be nice to spend it on stuff that would, make my dad more comfortable. Like, we're nudists. I was born and raised in News, and he's always wanted a hot tub that he can just go in the backyard naked and not be like gawked at by neighbors and stuff. And so I want to build a porch, an enclosed porch, and put a spa there so he can do that. Of course, for some reason, my husband has really dumb ideas as far as how he wants to build the porch. He wants to make this long area covered, and then the area over there that's just a big, square, he wants it uncovered. I'm like, so I won't be able to use it for 2/3 of the year because it's either going to be too wet or it's going to be super hot. Like, why? So we'll have to come to some kind of agreement there. I mean, me and my dad and the kids are all like, but we want the other part to be whatever. It's funny because I was talking to Matthew after mom died, and I was like, you always remind me a lot of her. He's like, no, I'm way more like your dad. And I'm just like, okay, honey. No, you're basically a copy of my mom, which is kind of weird because I've never really gotten along well with my mom. So why did I marry someone that's so similar to her? But people are dumb. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to catch up on emails again. It's really hard trying to catch up on Topless topic stuff with my kids, being such a time sink. And now in addition to that, I got all my mom's shit that I have to take care of, and she has literally like thousands of pieces of paper that she's just accumulated over the years that I'm gonna have to go through and everything. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, at least I'm getting these vlogs out, so people who are totally starved of new content can just watch these because they care so much about me and my personal life. They're not just here for tits, right? Yeah. Love you. Those of you who actually watch these, you're very special because it means that you actually do, have some interest in what's going on in my life and aren't just here to whack off. So I appreciate yes. All right. See you in the next video.